Hi, my name is Eugenio and I welcome you to my new channel. Before I start, I would just like to go through the disclaimer. And it goes as follows. All my opinions are my own and do not constitute financial advice in any way whatsoever. Nothing published in my blogs, vlogs and screencasts constitute an investment recommendation, nor should any data or content published by me be relied upon for any investment activities. I strongly recommend that you perform your own independent research and or speak with a qualified investment professional before making any financial decisions. As I said, my name is Eugenio and I welcome you to my channel. Now, I'm videoing this from my home, from my dining room table. So I'd like to think that this is quite a relaxed way of doing this. And just to warn you, I have got a dog, his name is Rufus, and he may start barking at any time. So I just want to warn you because he can be quite noisy. But at the moment, he is asleep just in the corner and hopefully it'll stay like that. Okay, so for the last year or so, I've been publishing a number of charts on Facebook for my friends' benefit. And those charts may have shown the FTSE 100 and what I thought the direction was of the FTSE. I have posted some crypto predictions, and overall those predictions have been pretty accurate. So that led to the situation where my friends asked me, hey, Eugenio, I'd quite like to learn this stuff. Would you be able to teach me? Now, rather than having individual meetings with everyone, I thought, well, perhaps it's a good idea to produce a video. So this is exactly what I'm doing now. Okay, so in essence, what I want to do is I want to produce a number of videos which explain how I make my investment decisions. Now, those decisions may involve cryptocurrencies, it may involve share buying, share dealing, and it also involves me looking at my pension and my ISA and seeing how that is performing, and where good decisions are being made on my behalf and where not such good decisions are made on my behalf. Now, in the description under this video, you can see some shortcuts. So if you want to move directly to a certain question or whatever, you can do so in case you haven't got much time. Now, I don't want this to be a very long video because I don't want to bore you to death either. So let's crack on. Now, one thing that I learned from someone that was very dear to me is the following sentence, and it said, "A fool and his money are soon parted." Now, I know that very well, and let me give you a little bit of background how I started to be interested in this, in looking at financial markets and in particular at trading strategies and what have you. So 8 years ago I sold my company. I then moved to Holland and I decided to look at Plus 500, which was a platform in which you can buy contracts for difference or CFDs. So I tried this, and one afternoon I was sat down at this very table. I was living in the Netherlands at the time, and I thought, ooh, let's try this. So I deposited some money in the account and off I went. I looked at a chart and the chart showed a line and the line showed where the price was at the time. So I started trading, and within an hour I had actually made 1,200 euros. That was in a matter of an hour. Now, that was the worst thing that could ever have happened to me. Because from that point I thought, well, this is easy, so, let's do this. Now, following that, I made a number of losses which far exceeded the 1,200 euros that I actually made. And that provided me with a huge lesson. And that made me think of this person who told me a fool and his money are soon parted. So at that stage, I had to, I had to do something about this. So I stopped day trading because it just wasn't for me. I was too volatile, and in essence, I didn't know enough about that. Now we're 8 years further, and what I have learned is that when you start investing money, and particularly day trading, do it on a demo account. Do it on a demo account, because if you lose money on a demo account, it doesn't affect your bank balance. And you can learn all the lessons that you need to learn in a demo account. Now, the only thing is, of course, that trading in a demo account is rather different from trading in a real life account, because a real life account affects your bank balance there and then. But anyway, so 8 years on, I've learned my lesson. And the other reason why I wanted to do these videos is that I should have taught my 2 daughters about financial management, looking at charts, and being careful on how you invest. For most of you who are watching, I guess that you have a financial advisor, and you will let your financial advisor make major decisions for you. Now, a word of warning. Financial advisors are obviously interested in your well-being and also in your bank balance. But in the end of the day, when a financial advisor makes a bad decision, that affects your bank balance way more than theirs. So I think that if you are not au fait with charts and what markets do and why markets do certain things, I think it may be useful for you to follow my videos, because it will give you information that could help you in being more critical about what your financial advisor's decisions are. So I've talked to friends, and I said to my friends, okay, so what questions have you got? So let's look at this. But before I do so, I would like to give you a scenario, and the scenario is as follows. Every 5th or 6th of April, you can deposit an amount of money into your ISA, and that money then gets invested. Now, that's a good idea. There's nothing wrong with that at all, except for the fact, do you know, when you give your £20,000 to your financial advisor, whether the market is in a state at which it is a good idea to actually invest that 20,000? Now, your financial advisor will take that money and put it into funds there and then. Now, if I look at the chart, this is a week chart of the UK FTSE 100. And here I have got, for example, this is the week chart. And if you had invested on or about the, let me just have a look, the 5th of April in 2015, you will find that your investment of 20,000 will have been reduced in the market within the next number of weeks up till, say, the first quarter of 2016. Your wealth in your ISA would have been reduced by some 19.47%. That's quite a drop. Now, similarly, if you had invested in April 2016, your investment would first of all have gone down by 10.89%, as you can see here on the chart. Similarly, in April 2017, your investment would have first moved down by about 3.97%. Let's have a look at that. 3.97%. Whereas if you had invested the 20,000 in April 2018, your investment would have gone up by some 15%. I can go on. Your investment in 2019 of your ISA in April would have gone up by 9.52%. And luckily, if you had invested 20,000 in your ISA on the 6th of April 2020, that would have gone up initially up till next April by a massive 28.06%. And if you had invested in 2021 in April, up to now it would have increased by 9.23%. Now, what I want to say with that is that it certainly matters when you invest and where the market is. So, what I will be looking at during these videos is when is the right time to buy and when is the right time to sell, and on what basis do I make that decision. So, let's move on and let's look at the questions that my friends have asked. So the first question that I get asked is, where do I start? Okay, well, that's a very good point. The first thing that you need to do is to learn technical analysis. And that is a way of analyzing the market based on technicals. Now, I use charts by tradingview.com, which show Japanese candlesticks. Now, TradingView is a portal that I use. You can use alternatives. There are ample of alternatives out there. I like TradingView. I've got a paid account. You can start with a free account. Definitely well worthwhile looking at. Now, what the charts allow you to do is to look at the movements of the market. Markets move up, markets move down. And the Japanese candlesticks that are shown within the graph can tell you lots about what the market is doing. Now, the market moves in ways that are based on previous levels. And what I mean to say by that is that there are certain patterns that occur in the market. Now, I don't want to go into detail right now. It will become clear. But we will certainly be looking at patterns. Now, there are also within the charting software a whole number of indicators that you can use, indicators that will warn you, hey, the market is at the top or the market is at the bottom. And what I want to do is explain to you what indicators that I use, and I'll come to that a little bit later. So the next question that I get asked is, when do I buy and when do I sell? Very good question. Now, as I said, there are lots of indicators that you can have on your charts. And you don't want to confuse yourself too much. So I like to keep those indicators to a minimum for me to be able to see the wood for the trees. The basic idea of buying and selling shares or crypto or whatever is to, of course, buy low and sell high. Now, that sounds obvious, but you see, if you've made an investment and you can see it going down and you think, oh my goodness, it's going down even further, it may be a good decision to sell at that point. But if you're in a loss, you got to think twice about that. So I will show you indicators that will give you some idea of, is this share going to go down much further, or is there going to be a support level within the chart at which the drop will likely stop occurring. So, when do I buy, when do I sell? My method of trading is that I use something called bearish and bullish divergence. And when I see bullish divergence, I buy. when I see bearish diversion, I tend to sell. So the answer to the question, when do I buy and when do I sell, is essentially based on bullish and bearish diversion, as well as some other factors, but we will come to that. Now, how do I know whether we are in a bull market or in a bear market? Now, that's a very good question. You know, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've definitely been in a bull market. At the moment, we're teetering between bull and bear market. A lot of people are saying we're entering a bear market, and that may well be so. But I will show you what I made that decision based on. So I have a chart here that is the week chart. I will just change that to a day chart. This is a day chart. Let me get rid of all of the drawings. So there we go. I go here. Right. Now, what you see here on this UK 100 chart is that I show the Japanese candlesticks, and you will see here the green clouds, which sometimes change to red, then to green, then to red, then to green. Now, that is an indicator called Ichimoku. I don't want to go into that detail, but in essence, what I want to say for now is that when I see that the cloud is green here on the right, I consider it to be a bull market. If the cloud is red and prices are performing below that cloud, that would indicate for me that we're in a bear market. So at the moment, for the UK 100, we are moving in a bull market. So in essence, at the moment, I think prices will continue to go up. But as I say, this is purely the indication at the moment. It can change anytime. And as far as Ichimoku is concerned, which is the indicator that I'm using on this chart, I will dedicate a video to that so that you get a reasonable understanding of what that indicator tells you. Okay, so then the question is, where can I buy shares? Okay, well, there are lots of platforms that you can use, and in fact, the situation is today that you can even have little apps on your telephone that allow you to trade crypto, that allow you to trade stocks and shares, and all that sort of thing. Now, what I use for crypto is an app called Kraken. I like it. It's fairly simple. And I can thoroughly recommend it. I haven't got any affiliation with Kraken, but you know, from a using point of view, I think it's great. For shares, I use 2 platforms. One of them is with my bank, which happens to be in the Netherlands with Rabobank, and that works absolutely fine. I also use a trading app called Free Trade. And then I have got my ISA with a company called Quilter, and my pension I do in another platform altogether, but I don't want to go into that right now. Now, the thing is that because of the availability of these apps, and because of the excitement around cryptocurrencies, a lot of people have gone into cryptocurrencies. They've opened a Kraken account. They don't know what the hell they're looking at. They're making decisions based on what their mate in the pub has told them, rather than looking at what is the market doing and what is it likely to do. And what I want to get to for you, and particularly my friends, because I don't like my friends losing money, is to give you the tools of saying, okay, well, I know that my mate in the pub said that it's a good time to buy Bitcoin or Cardano or Ethereum, but is that indeed so? And I want to give you the tools to be able to verify that decision. Okay, so then my friends have also asked me, what do you base your decisions on? Now, very good question. And this is a $64 million question in fact. So in my future videos, I'm going to show you how do I set up my charts, what Japanese candlesticks are, what does a candle show you, and what does a candle not show you, what is a green candle, what's a red candle. So we will go into some detail in that, and that's probably going to be my next video, or probably the next video is going to be how to set up my charts. The second video is going to be about Japanese candlesticks. We're also going to go into Ichimoku. The reason why I'm excited about Ichimoku is that both Kim, my wife, who's also trading, and who's actually a little bit cleverer than I am, we are convinced that the Japanese have been very, very clever in, first of all, coming up with candlesticks, and secondly, coming up with Ichimoku. And Ichimoku is an absolutely awesome tool to use in your charts. So I will dedicate a video solely on Ichimoku. Then I already mentioned that markets move in certain ways, and markets know where they have been in the past. So we can see that, for example, and this is just off the top of my head, that there may be very good support for a certain price at a certain level, and these levels keep returning in the future movements of the market. So I will dedicate a video to so-called support and resistance lines, or demand and supply lines. So demand occurs when the price is really low. So when the price is low, there's lots of demand, just like any business. And supply levels occur when a share or a cryptocurrency or whatever is at the top of the market, and people think, right, I'd like to sell that. So looking at support and resistance lines, or demand and supply. Then in video, the fifth video, we'll be looking at an indicator called relative strength index. And once we've looked at relative strength index, or RSI, I will then be able to explain also what bullish and bearish divergence means. And bullish and bearish divergence, to me, after having traded for 8 years and looked at markets for 8 years, to me, when we see bullish and bearish divergence on the day chart, that for me is an indicator I really like using, because it is often so accurate. So that's an introduction to my videos. If you like this and you'd like to follow my channel, please do subscribe. And I know it sounds a little bit corny, because everybody says, oh, do follow me. But the advantage is simple, that if you follow me and you press the bell button, you will automatically be reminded when a new video comes online. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you soon again. Thank you very much.